Hi, my name is Carrie White. I'm an SIU graduate student. I'm going to be doing a presentation on relational training with slot machine gambling. The participants in the study were 3 participants. 2 were females and 1 were male. One was a male. The ages were 32, 33, and 60. Prior to even beginning any of the testing and training phases, they were given a screener. It was a South Oaks gambling screener. From this screener, it was determined that 2 of the participants were considered to have some problems with gambling, so they scored a 2 or a 3 out of 20. And 1 participant scored a 0, so that participant was considered to have no problems with gambling at this time. The settings and materials. So there were 2 different rooms. One was for training, one was for testing. In the training room, there were index cards with words on it and poster boards. One was yellow and one was pink. The testing phase, there was a computer with 2 games displayed on it from freeslots.com. Okay, so during the procedure, there was a pre-training phase. So this was 50 trials. Treasures of Egypt and Party Bonus were the 2 games selected. Party Bonus was selected because all 3 participants had already played it before, while Treasures of Egypt was something that was unfamiliar to all 3 participants. So during that training phase, the participants were told to gamble as if they were actually at the casino and how they would actually bet. So depending on their bet magnitude, so would they start off at 1 and then work their way up to 9 credits, or would they just start at 9 credits? They were supposed to participate in the study as if they were gambling for real money. The data collection that was taken, you can see here there's an example of what the data collection sheet looked like. So it recorded the trials so that we knew when we hit 50 trials, the response latency, so in seconds, the bet magnitude, so like I said, both games were 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9, if they won or if they lost on that spin. And then the won amount, that was definitely something that from the study was seeing what was actual wins and losses disguised as wins. So, and if they got a bonus, and when they switched games to see when they were playing the party bonus and when they switched over to Treasures of Egypt or vice versa. There was also video recording done during this time. During the training phase, at this point there were 6 words: bankruptcy, broke, failure, success, winning, and money. Those 6 words were first shown to the participants and told them to rate from 1 to 6, 1 being worse and 6 being the better word. So then those words from there were then compared to 2 words at a time. Which one is better, which one is worse? After that, those positive words, or those words that made them feel better, were then paired with the color pink. So on the pink poster board, we determined that that was the better word, we would set it on the pink poster board. Negative words, if we determined which one was the negative word or the worst word, we would put that on the yellow poster board. Once it was determined that criterion was achieved, we moved on to the post-training testing. During the post-training testing was the same as the pre-test phase, so there were 50 trials. Data was collected during, it was also recorded. It was recorded for that IOA to determine by collecting the data live and then watching the data or watching the video to take the data as well. The results showed that the response latency across participants, they actually during the all 3 of them at the testing phase or pre-training phase, all 3 participants actually pressed the button faster than they did after the post-training phase. Also, the results showed that the selection of the slot machine Egypt, which was the yellow one, which was the one that we paired those negative words with, this is what we wanted to see. We wanted to see that the yellow machine or the Treasures of Egypt would decrease post-training. So additional data was collected. So the losses disguised as wins versus actual wins. As you can see here in all 3 participants, they actually had more losses disguised as wins than actual wins. There were limitations of the study. Some of the limitations were that gambling was just hypothetical. There was not an actual payout to the gamblers. Participant 1 and 2 both stated that they lost interest in the study because they were not able to earn real money. So that needs to be taken into consideration whenever you're doing a study that is hypothetical over an actual scenario. There was a small number of participants in the study, so comparing that to the additional research, we would need to increase the sample size. And then the maximum bet on both machines was only 9 credit. Most slot machines would include much higher values and with real monetary costs, so you could lose more. And I would want to take that in consideration. Although we told the participants to gamble like they would in a real situation, that also needs to be taken in consideration that it was not set up like most gambling machines in the casinos. However, even with these limitations, the study helps to provide evidence that preference to a specific machine can be influenced through relational training and non pathological gamblers. Future research should focus on looking at a variety of different levels of gambling. So there's those social. In my paper, I talked a little bit about social gambling versus pathological gambling versus um, just different ranges like professional gambling. So all those can be taken into consideration. Thank you so much for listening to my study. I hope you enjoyed it.